Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And honestly, I didn't want to show you guys any more videos about the whole Luna debacle. It's been a long journey, it's been a cumbersome journey, it's been a strange one. However, when you guys comment down below some of the crazy stuff that is like not believable, and then I look it up and it's actually true, I have to share that with you guys. So one of the things that you guys were sharing with me all morning was that there was a video online where Do Kwon apparently said he had a kill switch for the entire protocol. I didn't believe no soul in that chat box when you guys said that this man kind of had everything planned out or something along those lines. I didn't believe nobody. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought you guys were all just lying to my face, but then I found it. All right, then I got proven wrong. And that, ladies and gentlemen, and everything else, we have for you guys here today. Wow. Do Kwon describing Terra's protocol, Armageddon, in 2021. A kill switch where the Terraform, whatever, I don't freaking care. Terraform Ledger or whatever. It was Terraform Labs. Pulls the trigger and disappears from the project after cutting all their ties. In 24 hours, we're gone. Is this potentially related to what's happening with Terra 2 this week? Now, guys, I have two very important things to show you this week. But before we move on, make sure you press that like button on the video right now. Not because you have to, but because you can help the video out tremendously. And let's start this video right now. All right, give me just like 5 seconds or so to see why this is not loading up to the start. Can I just press it on? All right, I think here we go.
We have sort of something called a protocol Armageddon at the company. So a protocol Armageddon is that's a kill switch. So whenever we feel like we're no longer in a position to be able to best serve the community, we pull the trigger and 24 hours we're gone. We burn all of our assets, we cut all of our ties, and it's nothing. So that's just in case where things move a little bit faster than we're anticipating. We have sort of a...
So even though this might be traumatizing to some, this is not actually completely bad. And let me explain. Fatman also says here, as an afterthought, I don't think this is necessarily malicious. It could just be an additional decentralization measure, but it points to a certain level of planning surrounding what's been happening this week. Also, dumping the project doesn't magically erase your debts. As again, the reason I am saying this is not necessarily bad is, let's say hypothetically speaking, that a user were to come in and take over the entire network. If there were to be a kill switch, that potentially could be a good thing. But, and that's something you should guys all understand, I personally think if your network gets hacked, it was probably your own fault. And so you having a kill switch is not the most decentralized way to fix your problems, if you guys get my drift, right? If you got hacked and they took over your network, it's the way of the system. You know, decentralized systems are chosen by, you know, the participants, so to speak, or in the way in which it's governed, so to speak. If you let it get taken over, ain't no way you're going to take it back from me now, if you guys get my drift, right? 51% attack on Bitcoin. I mean, they're the majority, so they can vote on it. Is it a little bit corrupt? I mean, yes, but no. I mean, it's the way in which it goes. That's distribution for you, all right? That's the way in which it was chosen to be. That's decentralization for you. So having that switch is in no way, shape, or form completely justifiable, but it can be a little bit more understood then. This whole guy, however, is like a fat mine, all right? He's called himself Fat Man Terra. It's like a fat mine of just freaking juicy information, all right? We talked about a little bit of this before, and I actually wanted to open up now a article that showcases how some of the validators are thinking that Do Kwon is like a freaking dictator with his new Terra 2.0 plan. I'm gonna show it to you guys. So in the previous live stream of earlier today, we talked about two main things. One of them being the fact that because of the Terra UST crash, there's a lot of freaking regulations that are going to come in. G7 is talking about it right now. Gary Gensler said a lot of crypto projects are going to falter after this and are going to go for heavy enforcement. But also, and very importantly, a lot of other crypto projects are going to fall because people now have been warned. But in terms of Terra, you know, the majority of people have said the 2.0 will not create value. CZ has said this over from Binance and, well, a lot of other guys, so let's say. However, a Terra Validator itself, I've forgotten the name right now. I've forgotten the name, but it doesn't really matter. One of the validators hits out a Do Kwon's dictatorship model on the revival fork vote. They basically said, Do Kwon, not sure exactly what you're doing, but it ain't the right way to go about this, right, my guy? And so FMT is going a little bit further. He's actually looking at different validators, an interesting perspective from Figment, a Terra validator as well, on changing a proposal midway after people have already voted for something else. Because once more, guys, it's a dictatorship in the way in which it all worked from the get-go, but also the change in the vote. I told you guys before, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because the distribution that we had before, I basically put over in a spreadsheet. I described to you guys what the benefits were, what the negative sides were. Spreadsheet obviously is not loading, but here we go. I described to you guys what the good sides were, what the bad sides were, but I understood everything. And I understood as well why people would vote for this, because even though the new network would not have value, overall, what it would basically do is it put the new Luna, new UST holders in a little bit of a new trading battle, but there was a pretty small chance of things dumping or things really going crazy, because the majority of it all had like a big cliff. So they had probably like a year to fix things. Right now, they changed things up so severely with very, very big unlocks from the start, about 30%, which basically means that at the start already, there's going to be some heavy trading, some heavy liquidity, and a lot of exit liquidity for Luna themselves, for the guys, for the team, whatnot. You got to remember, they probably still have tens or hundreds of millions of dollars that they'll gain from this little endeavor slash scam slash corruption scandal, or whatever you want to call it. A little side note, so this validator specifically, fun fact about this one, they initially voted no, changed it to abstain. A Figment Telegram mod stated someone from Terra forced them to, and then deleted the message, and have now changed it back to no. Unconfirmed, corroborated only by multiple witnesses. You can just see whoever voted what, by the way. Why is an anonymous address that was funded 20 million Luna by the Terraform Labs official wallet 2 years ago? Again, this maybe, I'm not sure if it's funded or just delegation, but okay. Currently the biggest yes signaler for Do Kwon's latest fork proposal. People have been pointing out that this fork might not actually be properly voted upon, and the more we start to look into it, it's like, none of this stuff actually makes sense. So in July of 2020, the official Terraform Labs wallet funded a fresh anonymous address with 20 million Luna. Okay, it's actually an official transfer. There are a couple of such addresses from the early days that most likely belong to TFL employees. 20 million Luna! You gotta remember, 20 million Luna at this point is not much, but 2 years ago, so that means last year, that was, that's a lot of money, my guys. 20 million Luna, that is a lot of freaking money. All right, it's $100, it was $110, $120, $150 or so, whatever, per coin at one point. This anonymous wallet controls 5% of the voting power and is signaling yes for Do Kwon's latest proposal. TFL has stated that they don't vote. Do TFL employees vote though? Stablecoin, is this your wallet? Not rhetorical, please answer. And if it isn't your wallet or an employee's wallet, which is almost certainly is, who is it? Given that you sent them 20 million Luna, do they have TFL adjacent interests and intentions? Who are they, and why won't they reveal their identity when all major validators are actually labeled and these are just addresses at the top here? You know, why does nobody know exactly who they are? I have one major other thing to say. One, this is starting to look more and more like the freaking SEC v Ripple battle with all these freaking contradictions from the Terra Luna team. And second of all, who can tell me now exactly how much Luna the TFL had at the snapshot point? You got to remember, guys, they had now about 290 million Luna. So, but they will be excluded from the whole system. But how much did they have before? That would decide the Luna supply. And then more importantly, who else were the biggest holders and whatnot, right? Because there's some rules in place for bigger Luna holders, yes. But fun fact, the rules were just specified around 1 million less or 1 million plus Luna, with the idea that they should make a difference between people that have less than $100 million before and people that had more than $100 million before. Where I'm thinking, wow, the $100 million is like your baseline for making a difference. Shouldn't that difference be like $1 million? Later on, they added that, and right now it's like if you have more than, I don't know, 30,000 Luna or so, or like 10,000 Luna, I'm not sure exactly anymore, then there's already differences. But I'm thinking, man, that is crazy. That's what their thought process was. That basically means there's some really, really big wheels in this process. And I keep reminding people, I think this entire process here, this entire debacle, is mostly done for the whales or for them to create exit liquidity or for something along those lines, because none of this stuff just makes sense. It really looks like a freaking scheme planned against us. I still don't think that their fork is going to create value. I still think the only way in which they can do things good is by a burn in some way, shape, or form. The only problem is with a burn, they can't actually do a buy and burn. The only thing which they can do is go for a burn basically on every single transaction or so, or they can go fork it right now like they're trying, and then try to basically use that money to pay back investors. Again, they quoted in one of their proposals, before Proposal 2, that they were going to try and replenish some of the people's money. But where are all the plans about that? They've kind of lost. So that's why I'm sometimes thinking maybe they have the plans, but then they're just not letting them go. But changing the vote midway, basically changing the proposal, is also a really freaking sketchy thing to do. And I kind of wonder, is Biden's also voting in all this? I guess they are not, because, again, they have their address public, and they didn't do anything, I believe. It didn't move it. But Fat Man here is definitely worth a follow, guys. If you do follow him, make sure you let him know that you came from me. He doesn't know I exist. But, a little bit of shout out for all the hard work he's been putting in. He also put up a couple of proposals to give people the money back and so. But damn, it's crazy. I've been reading everything that he's sharing. TechCrunch just now said, according to Karas, there hasn't been any communication with the advisor since May 7th, when USD began depegging from its what was supposed to be stablecoin value. Again, CZ from Binance said they could have most likely saved it if they just around that day started to put money into it, but they didn't want to. They waited until it was like 80% down. Karas said, Karas has no visibility or sway over internal technical discussions, which is strange. Why wouldn't you discuss this with your advisors? Literally, your advisors. They're supposed to be there to help you. The truth is, I found my information on Twitter like everyone else, Karas said, which is really, really crazy. Takeaway, LFG's decisions were more centralized than it was made to appear. The council were not equals. Karas is in the dark, Macedo never had any sway, and Talo has distanced himself, which basically means it is a dictatorship in the way in which some have described it already. And again, if what is true, that they didn't really were allowed to vote, basically, this is one big of a story, guys. This is going to be a very, very interesting story. Fat Man just now made a Twitter account, but again, I personally am following him through all this endeavor because it's been crazy, man. It has really, really been crazy. Then again, I'll share more stories and parts as I find out more about it. Then again, it's just been such a freaking hassle to go through all this and find out the exact facts and everything. It's like finding a piece of freaking pie in, I don't know, freaking Disneyland or so. I'm not sure that's a good analogy, but whatever. Make sure you press the like button if you enjoyed the video, guys. And I'll get you later on the flip side with another update. Stop the recording.